Holy bombshell! Ilia Topuria has vacated the featherweight belt. That's literally what Dylan wrote down. He wrote holy bombshell. So that's what we're starting with.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Holy bombshell. Ilia Topuria has just vacated the featherweight belt. He's moving up to lightweight without a confirmed matchup. So that leads me to believe that maybe he's not getting a title shot right away.
I think that, he maybe had to force the UFC's hand here. They were like, I know you said this in another video, so I'm totally just regurgitating your words. But, he's like, I want the double champ fight. I want Islam. And then they're like, no. And he's like, all right, well, I'm moving up to lightweight. So
Yeah.
Who gonna beat me?
I can't make the weight. All right, bro, you're 5'4".
Who gonna beat me in lightweight?
Honestly, I think the Dustin Poirier matchup is one that I've seen talked about a lot because
Dustin ain't take that in his last fight.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. People are like, oh, Dustin versus Poirier. It's a fight to make. Retirement fight for Poirier. You think Poirier wants to be slept in his last fight?
Yeah.
Do you actually think he wants that?
No, he would rather, lose in he could get knocked out in the fourth or fifth thing up against like a Gaethje, lose a decision to a Gaethje, just go all out. Mm-hmm. But like getting slept by Ilia Topuria in the first round, that is in your hometown too. That is depressing.
It'd be so bad. Yeah.
But I think that I'm just so appreciative for Ilia Topuria because I swear every single video we have to talk about how, we could talk about this once Ilia tells us what he's doing.
Yeah.
He was acting like a woman for a long time and, we hate women over here. So now that he's... Sorry, Lucas made an insensitive comment before we started filming, so...
What did I say?
Said that my ex-girlfriend was going to ghost me.
Oh, yeah.
That's insensitive. She's not going to.
You're only mad because there's some truth.
Okay, I'm unopened. And we're not talking about it, so I don't...
All right, we'll just get your mind off of it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But makes his decision. He's up in lightweight, which means that we get to move on at featherweight. We get to revitalize lightweight, potentially,
Dude, it's so weird that he is a lightweight fighter now. He feels like the epitome of a featherweight fighter.
But that's what lightweight is. It's just everyone that's moved up from featherweight.
True. That's true.
They all started somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. So who knows? I think with people look at the Jai Herbert fight because that's the only example we have of Ilia Topuria at lightweight. But that was on, I think it was 2 weeks short notice, so he didn't have a proper weight cut or a proper bulk. If he does a cut properly, he's going to have more power. He's going to have more cardio, more stamina.
More power.
The only thing that he's not going to have more of is imposing his will over other people because he's not going to be bigger than anyone.
More power. I can't get over that. This guy can't have more power.
I don't know. It's going to be wild. If he gets in the cage at 175, 180, no, 175, you can't gain. That'd be wild.
Dude.
He'd be huge. But how much bigger can you get? Because he already looks he looks a good size.
On fight day in featherweight, he's already huge.
Yeah, he looks good. So I don't know how much bigger he can get. Is he going to look a little muffin top like Max Holloway or what? What are we getting here? So that's the only thing that kind of confuses me. Muffin top. How much bigger can Ilia get? I guess put on a bit more muscle, maybe not cutting as much will help him. We've seen that help Volk in his fight against Makhachev. But I want to talk about what I think is going to happen because there's so many possibilities for him. If we look at the top 5, obviously there's the Islam Makhachev fight, which you would think if it was going to happen, they would have announced it. But I am also seeing reports from Ariel Helwani where he says, this is the next fight the UFC is planning on making. International Fight Week. They just haven't signed it yet.
I think that maybe with something so big, Dana wants to be a little bit conservative.
Well, and why would you want to announce all of what he announced, 4 massive things?
Yeah, when this
plus
is
Ilia Topuria.
Yeah, when this is so far in advance, because you're either going to water down the recent stuff with 314 and 315. People
and 316.
Yeah, I guess people aren't going to care about that. When you can wait, and then that news also doesn't die down. You have the hype closer to the fight, once the pay-per-views are available to buy, once the tickets are available to buy,
exactly.
You have it closer to then because by the time that stuff all happens, the hype already would have died down.
Yeah, so I think there's still a possibility that Topuria moves up and does get an immediate title shot. There's so many moving parts here because here's one of my thoughts is people have been saying, why would Topuria vacate the belt if he wasn't going to fight Islam Makhachev? Because you would want that champ fight, right? That just makes sense. But what if the UFC came to Topuria and said, look, we need to either get your division going. So that means you need to fight Volk, or you can move up, but you're going to have to wait. And we need to move the featherweight division along. So he says, all right, sure, I don't care. Move the division. So he moves up. They make this fight, the Lopez versus Volk. They make that fight. And even though Topuria doesn't have the belt, it doesn't matter. Like Makhachev versus Topuria, just as a lightweight fight, is still massive.
Well, yeah. And I think that like as much as, Ilia technically isn't the champion anymore, and by the time that fight happens, he technically won't be the champion anymore. It doesn't lose any of its hype. Ilia Topuria is still going for that double champ status. It's not simultaneous double champ, but like when you talk about double champs, it doesn't really matter.
And you don't I'm sorry, but as a fan, you shouldn't want a simultaneous double champ ever.
That's like
it's the worst thing.
Yeah, we can just have interim title fights.
Yeah, it
title
makes
defenses.
No
Movsar versus Lopez for the interim belt after he just beat Volk for it.
Yeah, but another thing, another possibility I could also see is Makhachev has been guaranteed the winner of
Hooker.
JDM or Bilal.
Oh, he's going up.
So he goes up, and Topuria fights for an interim. Or they do the same thing they did with Volk Lopez. It's a real belt, and Makhachev is now at
you could see that.
Yeah, so that could be something interesting.
Every time we talk about it, I just don't like Islam moving up. Every time, the more we talk about it, I'm just like, there's too many chefs in the kitchen up there. We do not need to add Gordon Ramsay to that, all right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, there's so many guys that I want to see fight for the belt.
And you would think that...
You have 8 or 9 guys that have, like, championship potential.
And you would think that if Ilia is moving up to lightweight, they're going to be like... They're not going to want Islam to move up, because Ilia moves up and then Islam moves up. Well, you just missed the massive fight.
Yeah, we're playing musical chairs at this point.
Exactly. And then Ilia has to go up to welterweight.
Yeah.
As a 5'2" man.
It's just, I think that you have to just sit there and wait and know that Ilia versus Islam is going to happen. Just have that optimism that this fight is going to happen. Is it going to happen right away? Who knows? Maybe because Islam went and fought Moicano on short notice, the UFC was like, we need you to accept this fight. Although you are the favorite, we will scratch your back. You can have the winner of Hooker versus Gaethje. You know, and then that means that Ilia is one fight away. But at the same time, an Ilia versus an Arman fight would be cool.
Here's my opinion. Because out of the top 5 opponents, he's already beaten Max Holloway, so that's completely out of the picture.
Like we do not need to see that fight again.
Justin Gaethje's already booked with Dan Hooker, so there's no possibility that's going to happen.
He faces the winner of that fight, but then you're like, who's fighting for the belt?
That's too long.
But if that fight were to happen, it's also just he would kill Gaethje.
Yeah, but that's way too long. So then you have Poirier, Oliveira, and Arman Tsarukyan, who are all unbooked right now. We know Poirier's last fight is going to be within the next 4 months in the summer. So that is a strong possibility.
I don't like it.
But it's a strong possibility. Just with the timelines.
Poirier, no. I'm not watching him go out on his back in one round.
It doesn't matter. It's still a strong possibility. Oliveira, I think, is by far the best matchup you can make.
It's the toughest matchup for Ilia Topuria just because he's so unique. Like he's fought in guys like that are well-rounded, but he hasn't fought in a guy like Charles Oliveira before.
Yeah, great jiu-jitsu, great, like the Thai boxing stance is super unique. I think that would give him trouble. The height is also an interesting thing. I think that's, in my opinion, the most exciting. Like, it would do numbers. You could have that main event something, and I would not complain at all.
100%. Like that is a fight to make.
Yeah.
But you also got to worry about Charles Oliveira's chin.
That's the thing. Blitz in by Chandler. If that can rock him, I think, like, right now, early predictions, if we had to predict Charles Oliveira versus Topuria, I think Topuria can put him out.
Round 3 KO.
Yeah.
Like
the chin is just not
Oliveira
there.
Oliveira does some weird stuff, pulls guard and then pulls guard a little...
That's a possibility too.
And then obviously you have the number 1 contender, Arman Tsarukyan. I was kind of saying this fight just because, like Arman's, they're like, oh, he's got to go and fight again.
Yeah.
Ilia, this would be like an undisputed number 1 contendership fight.
That's true.
I mean, I think Ilia smokes Arman Tsarukyan.
Really? I think it's a tough matchup for Ilia. Just because Arman's not going to play that game.
That is true. Like,
of striking. He might throw an axe kick and then be like, all right,
yeah,
I'm done.
And then obviously championship fight, Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria.
Hopefully that's what we get.
This was plan one, you know? I think we've talked about it before. You know, it's a tough fight to predict. I think you lean Ilia ever so slightly. I lean Islam ever
but just
so
because
slightly.
just because that's like what I want. If I was realistically picking this fight, Islam should have the advantage.
Yeah. But here, I actually kind of liked your idea of Islam Makhachev welterweight. Ilia Topuria fighting for an undisputed or interim belt.
Yeah.
You know, you have Ilia Topuria has to go and fight someone maybe in the time, you know, get that spot. But call me crazy. If you had to book a two fresh contender lightweight championship fight, Ilia Topuria is the one opponent. You know who the other opponent is? 100% it's winner of Chandler versus Patty. 100% they would want to book that.
Not Chandler, please. Please.
Why not?
Please not.
Why not?
I'm done with him. He doesn't deserve anything.
But why would they not book that fight?
Because there's 5 other people above him.
Yeah, well, did those 5 other people get offered Conor McGregor?
It's no. If Patty wins, like I don't even think if Patty wins, Patty should have one more fight.
I realistically don't think this should happen. But
it's more likely.
It wouldn't be crazy for Dana to pull something like that,
especially if the storyline of Patty and Ilia, like it's not impossible, but Arman deserves it more than anyone, you know?
Oh, 100%.
So,
I think, it would be Arman versus Ilia for an interim or an undisputed if Islam left. I just don't see Islam leaving. No. You know, then it's a knock on his resume. You know,
he never fought
ran away from Ilia. Ilia came up to fight him, and he ran away.
It would be pretty funny.
Next thing you know, the top 3 fighters of all time are 2 of them are duckers. But that's going to wrap it up for us today. Go down to the comments. Let us know. What do you think about Ilia Topuria moving up to lightweight? Do we like this move? Do we hate it? Also, what is the best matchup you want to see? I think obviously for us, it's that Ilia versus Islam fight, but there's so many great fights to make with a guy as exciting as Ilia Topuria. While you guys are down there, make sure you guys are liking, commenting, and subscribing. We appreciate all the love and support, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.